Bacovic.
Yeah, great, Radovan and Chris. Regarding data engineering internship, we just started about DBT, airflow infrastructure things here. So at the beginning, as I said, DBT is one graph or one DAG from this list, and it's executed exactly in the same way as any other thing here. Our airflow is based on, or it's deployed on cluster, and it has three components. It's database, it's web server, and it's scheduler. If you go to the cluster, and it belongs to default cluster here, where you dataops. You can see the nodes. Not here, sorry. And you see airflow deployment.
You're not sharing your screen at the moment, Radovan.
No, yeah, I will do that.
Thank you.
Thanks for reminder. I stop shared and start recording, and yeah, great stuff. Start one more time. DBT running on airflow. For now, it's just one monolith structure with a lot of tasks inside. And actually, just one step back about the airflow. It has three components, as I said: web server, schedule, and database. For us, what is most important? Actually, this is component managing the web server. Behind that is scheduler and how things are orchestrated, and all data are persistent in database block or database layer. Long story short, any of these DAG is set up to be spin up in the same way, and DBT is no different in that case. As I said, when we call the task, it spin up the Kubernetes pod in our cluster, and everything is done inside that pod. I mean, everything is executed. That is a little bit more difficult way to maintain and manage, but great advantage of it is you're not limited to this machine where you deploy airflow. So you detach orchestration from execution. In this case, you have airflow, you say, okay, this will be done. I will want to execute DBT, and then pod is spin up and everything is done on that pod. It can be scaled, theoretically speaking, infinitely. So we have no problem with any issue when it comes to memory or things like that. And also when you take a look into the code here, you will see command we run when we run the DBT. Let's say for non-product models on small data warehouse, what we are running is actually this command. Everything is run here regarding, I don't know, target prod, exclude these tags, and also we need to exclude our extra tag when we decide what we want to do regarding the decouple one set of tasks.
Mm-hmm.
So actually speaking about this will run one pod on Kubernetes, this will run the second one, and also let's say DBT test will run the third one, etc., etc. But long story short, we actually run DBT command as a script, and it's spin up on the cluster, and on that cluster everything is executed and data are transformed. Also we define which environment, which profile, what we exclude, what we want to include, some additional commands as per documentation from DBT, and that's it. So actually you can do the same, and actually you can create a mimic of production environment on that, what you said, local cluster, what we talked last time. And also you're able to run DBT locally. And of course it will target also what we mentioned last time, not production, but your private schema, like Chris Sharp prep, Chris Sharp prod, or Radovan Bacovic prep, Radovan Bacovic prod respectively.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Any question?
No, that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to give you the introduction to this part. And also when it comes to our next task, is we need to determine the DBT sharding part and actually what we want to do. I think what you mentioned last time, it can be which one as a good candidate.
It was the Salesforce one, splitting that out so that we could run it more frequently.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, did you find any obstacle or any showstopper blocker for us, or we are good to go with that, let's say, set of data or set of tables, right? Because I think it's increment or it's imported or extracted using 5 trend, if I'm not wrong, and it's in row layer. So from that row layer, we need to decompose DBT jobs. So from my point of view, if we can go with Salesforce, what we need to do is to do a couple of things: to analyze the models, to tag all of them, to see how dependencies are going, and then to create a command. We can run it first locally, and then to wrap it up inside the new DAG in Airflow, right?
Yeah.
That's how I see this. So let's
So where does Salesforce, is that a Stitch integration with decouple?
Let's check. Let's check. Usually GitLab handle data. Not here, but when I look for any source of the data, be sure from where it's going or where it's coming. I'm going here.
Yeah.
Not here. We want to see data sources. It's here, if I'm not wrong. Yep.
Yeah, Stitch. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything is nicely described here for each data source we have, but we will stick with Salesforce and also with Stitch. We will also have one lesson to cover how to determine it or define something or predefine something in Stitch and 5-trend. It also can be a good candidate to take a look in brief in Stitch what we have regarding the Salesforce. But actually data is landing in a raw schema. And also you can see what is the ETA for this data.
Does Stitch use Airflow for orchestration as well?
No, actually Stitch is a SaaS platform where you define following things: source and target, and everything is on their resources. So typical SaaS story, like, okay, I want to get the data from Salesforce. Here, this is my credentials, and this is a set of tables you can actually import in your data warehouse. And then you said, okay, I want this table, don't want this table. I have a target like Snowflake in our case, and I want to put everything in database row dot schema name is Salesforce or something usually. And then you define, I want a frequency of loading the data 2 hours, 6 hours, and actually everything is automated. So
Sorry,
you're charged
Radovan,
per record.
Yeah, I've got someone at the front door. Sorry.
No worries, take your time.
Sorry.
No, all good. Yep, we are back.
So would there be a way of triggering the DBT DAG like on a Stitch? So once the Stitch process is run, use it as an input for the DBT stuff?
Yeah, actually, I think DBT is blind in that case. So you can tell DBT. Usually, if you go to Stitch when, you trigger your data importing. And also you approximately know what time is needed for finished extraction. So as per that, you can, let's say, run your DBT model.
Yeah.
Or you can be more smart and use some sensors or something like that to see, okay, is this done or not? And then based on that parameter, run DBT. This will be a fine tuning for us because as of now, what I know, usually we extrapolate at the time when we want to start something. And DBT is just one monolith structure as of now. So in that case, it's running after, like, okay, Postgres pipeline is done, this job is done, this 5-trend integration is done, and then DBT will run. So you can consider Stitch and 5-trend as the same type of tool, like SaaS pipelines for extraction part of ETL processing, like move the data in our resources in our warehouse. It not be necessarily need to be SQL server. It can be any files, JSON, CSV, whatever. But usually, yeah, in our case, it's ended up in Snowflake. And from there, we'll move data from raw down the road in downstream modeling.
Yeah.
So let me share my screen again. I think I stopped it. So usually for each description about data sources you want to use, go here instead of Salesforce. I will also want to focus here to try to predefine what needs to be done. It's like requirements. Yeah, like this more beautiful later on. So we need to do what? Define the candidate for extraction, DBT. We agree it will be Salesforce. Then analyze all models related to Salesforce. Then tag models related to Salesforce, of course. Then do the DBT run locally. To ensure everything is working fine locally, DBT run the command. So when we have the command, actually what we want to run, then we incorporate the command in DAG, in new create DAG. But we need to be sure everything is cool here, and then move on to DAG creation, which will give more context about data engineering stuff here.
Yeah.
So, yep. On the DBT level, we should exclude Salesforce jobs from main DBT jobs. Otherwise, we will have loading same things 2 times, you know.
Yeah.
So we need to exclude it physically. But on this level, I would say for data DBT sharding, it's enough to define, okay, actually what we want to load. See, can we somehow improve something? Is it okay or not? But main point and main focus is to extract it from that big bunch in DBT and have like something like DBT Salesforce, right?
Yeah.
And then on DAG level, we will schedule everything. When we want to run, how we want to run, what is the command. Actually, we'll have the command as outcome of this issue. And that's it. Move on. Tag models. Salesforce. In case there is any space for quick win and try to optimize the process, we'll do that here. Do the DBT run locally. Move on to DAG creation. Let's see, what is the issue name? And this task block the next one regarding the DAG. Sec. These are resources. Looks fine. This is with me and you.
Yeah.
So looks clear. I'm just thinking what is the best way to kick off this. Maybe just my proposal. I'm on triage the entire week. We switch to that weekly scheduler, which is okay for us because you can focus on that and also have enough time to catch up with you in 1 hour, 2 hours working session, whatever is needed. So I would say maybe what we can do, if you can do the next couple of days, check the models, gather all models, then we can start doing it together from here.
Yeah.
And just to have an extreme programming pair session, like, okay, we can do it together, sit together 1-2 hours and iterate on this problem. But I would say if you predefine and get role information regarding Salesforce, I don't know much about that. Then we can exclude, run it locally on your or my schema, whatever, and ensure we include everything needed for that run.
Yeah.
And after that, once when you do a test, we can move to DAG creation, which will be a separate, let's say, working session for us, a real data engineering stuff in and Python coding and plus Airflow. So just my assumption. And anything you think you should add here, please add. Feel free to rephrase to add more details, whatever needed. But we can start from here if you're okay.
Yeah, I will do. I think Dennis mentioned that there was some requirement. Some people were looking for the Salesforce data to be delivered into a certain table more frequently than once a day. So I think that would be the sort of find out which table they were looking for it in, whether it was, and then maybe take it that far, because we wouldn't need to do everything that relied on Salesforce data more frequently than once a day. I think it was only a sort of subset of it, something to do with opportunities maybe.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. Salesforce data, load it, transform it. Also, check the extraction frequency for Salesforce in Stitch. Why this is important to check the frequency of extraction in Stitch is because, let's say, if you load the data once per day, you can run your DBT each hour, but it doesn't make too much point, right? Because data is not fresh. So we need to align with that part. And also, once when we wrap up everything regarding DBT, maybe think, okay, we can put Salesforce loading more frequent than it's now. Because as I said, you can schedule it in Stitch. Very, very simple. So we'll cover and touch that part also. We'll start from that. But still, I would say, what we can do is done, right? If you can then quickly do here. So from here we will we'll do it together. Okay. Okay. So actually we have a clear specification now. Now our issue is refined for here. So what do you think? Which day is fine for you? Except Thursday, I'm super busy with some conferences online, luckily. Everything is fine for me. Wednesday, Friday, whatever you want. We have enough time.
I think it's quite a quiet week this week because of Thanksgiving in the US. So
when is that, by the way?
I think it might be Thursday. So I think a lot of people would have holidays.
Friday off as well. Yeah.
Thursday and Friday, yeah.
I would say let's